what's going on here. Looks like an engine block. Oh, I know what that is. That's a good old Ecoboost. Freshie. FOMOCO. Well, if you're wondering what's going on, this is obviously for the Ranger, for the Ecoboost Ranger. If you followed along at all, you already know about the Ecoboost Ranger. If you haven't, I Ecoboost swapped my 97 Ranger. So what the problem ended up being is that there's an issue with the early Ecoboost blocks, and they have what they call coolant intrusions. It started basically consuming coolant or in some way, shape, or form. So what the plan is with this block, so I bought this brand new from Ford. I think it cost me $740. Shipped it to their parts deal, and I went and picked it up. So what my plan is, and I'm still thinking about everything because I'm not 100% sure on how I want to go about this, because I would love to do a 2.3 stroker, but I'm still not sure. So right now, the cheapest thing I can do, which I'm not going to do, the cheapest thing I can do is take everything off my engine and put it on this engine. Obviously that's ridiculous. Why would I put used up high mileage stock rods and stock pistons in a brand new engine? Stupid, right? Okay. So what I might do is I might take the crank out of that engine, put it into this engine, and do a set of rods and pistons, and basically set this engine up to run around 500 horsepower reliably. I'm most likely going to have my head sent off just to verify that it's not cracked, verify that it's flat, and have them do maybe a valve job or whatever else. So that's probably going to, that's most likely going to happen. My other option is don't reuse my crank, get a Mustang crank and do Mustang internals and do a 2.3 stroker. The only issue with doing a 2.3 stroker is I would not be able to run it right away. I'd have to have it retuned. So if I reuse my old crank and do 2.0 built internals, rods and pistons, I would be able to put everything back together, put it in, start it, run it, drive it, just like it is, and get it back on the road. And then down the line, then I'll work on big turbo and all this other bull crap and make this thing make some serious power. But realistically, my goal right now is to get this thing running and driving, because right now it's doing me no good just sitting there. As much as I'd love to do the 2.3 stroker, I don't know if I'm going to, because this thing is not going to be all out, make all the power. I just want this thing to make close to 500, 450 at the end of the day. But right now, I want it to run and drive. So I figured instead of going to buy another junkyard engine and potentially have another failure and then have to do it all over again and again, I figured just get a new block, because supposedly Ford remedied the coolant intrusion issue. So just get a new block and start fresh. And if I'm starting fresh, I'm gonna obviously do some rods and pistons at the bare minimum. So I'll probably do head studs also, and still debating on doing a 2.3 stroker or not. I know it picks up a little bit of torque, but I don't know if it's worth it. So, because if I'm gonna retune for 2.3 stroker immediately, I'm gonna have to retune again for big turbo. So it's kind of like I'm spending a lot of extra money on the 2.3 stroker setup. The crank alone will cost me about $500. The retune is probably $400 to $800, and then another retune for big turbo is another $400 to $800. So just by doing that, getting that 0.3 extra displacement, I'm spending a lot more money. So, and I'm not trying to make this thing the greatest thing in the world, because this is just a little screw around project, and it's already, it's only lasted me 1,000 miles, and here I am with a brand new engine block. So if you want to stay updated and watch me put this thing together, because that's my plan, is to put it together myself. I'm not gonna take it to a shop because I like to screw things up and do things twice. If I wanted to buy a built short block from a shop, they sell short blocks built. They cost about $4,000. So this cost me about $740. Rods and pistons are about $1,200, $1,300, and then reuse my old crank, and then bearings are a few $100. So obviously I'd still need to do a head gasket, I'll do oil pump, stuff like that. But this whole build is gonna cost me probably $2,500-ish versus $4,000 to take it to a shop and have them do it. Now, am I saying that I'm gonna do this and it's all gonna work out great? No. Having a shop do it is probably the smartest thing if you want 100% reliability and some type of warranty. So here I am. Stay tuned. Hopefully get rods and pistons in the next few weeks or so, maybe. We'll see. And I'm gonna have to tear down the old engine once again. So this is the first brand new engine I've ever had. Block, anyway.